What's up? What's up? What's going on?
What is going on, man? This is the King and Doc podcast. My man King Hooley, how you doing, baby?
What's up, man? Happy to be here, brother. Happy Tuesday to you.
It is a wonderful Tuesday. Every Tuesday is a wonderful Tuesday since we are here at 6 p.m. Pacific. Do not forget to like, subscribe, follow, all of those things that you need to do. Shout out to the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network for having us on. We appreciate y'all. We bring the entertainment portion of the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network, and that should be obvious when you look at me because I do not look like an elite athlete.
I mean, I used to be, so in my
actually,
mind,
I kind of look like an elite bowler.
You probably do. You know what I see you on? You know what I see you on? That axe throwing shit.
Okay, I'm with
you know
that.
What I'm saying? I'm curious. You know what I'm saying? When the Ocho comes on, that's when we see the blood doctor. You feel me?
Yeah. Take like 4 shots of vodka, then just start throwing axes. Accidentally hit a camera, all that good stuff. Yeah, I'm with that. I could see that.
Let's hope not. Listen, don't do that.
I think I could also be good at professional mini golf if that was a sport. Could really get out there and swing some clubs. I'll tell you, the only time I've ever genuinely used the phrase "horsing around" was when my wife was pregnant and we were playing mini golf and some kid was swinging his club and I was like, enough horsing around. And that's also when I knew I was old, which is that's this episode. Getting old sucks. That's what we're going to talk about.
100%.
But
I don't like it at all, dude.
It's getting terrible. But before we do that, let me do one thing I want to say. This past October, my nephew passed away. And this past weekend was his birthday. And that kid was one of the greatest things in my life. He died too young, and it was a horrendous accident. And it's just caused me so much to reflect on everything lately. And I remembered, so many anecdotes of his life. And I shared one recently, and I just want to tell this one again. I don't know if I ever told you this one. It's one of my favorites. But when he was like 10 years old, and he was playing in a basketball league. And he was like, the big kid. He was the tallest one. He was the best one on the team. But his coach had some other kid playing point guard and, shooting the ball all the time, even though my nephew is clearly the best player on the team. And they're losing at halftime to this squad of kids who are like half his size. And his coach gives the speech about, we're going to have, Tyler's going to play point guard and just whatever, all this. And Tyler, some other kid, I'm making the name up, I don't know. So I pulled my nephew Andrew aside and I said to him, this is like a 10, 11-year-old kid. I said, I don't give a fuck what your coach just said. I want you to shoot every fucking shot in the second half. I said, we watched LeBron James the other day, scored 32 of 33 straight against the Magic, and you were going to go out there and do that. I do not care what your coach says. Take every single shot. I was like, you are the best player on this team. I don't want to hear it. And, the thing is, his dad wasn't there to tell him not to listen to me. His dad was on a business trip, so I got away with it. And he listened to me. He took every single shot in the second half, and they won the game because he was the best player on the team. And I always loved that, we were so close that he was just like, fuck it, I'm listening to my uncle. I don't care about my coach. And I will love that kid forever. I miss him. Rest in peace, Andrew Dunning. And I just wanted to talk about him for a couple of minutes because that is, something that has stung me for real. But
sorry to hear. I'm sorry for your loss, brother. And I'm here for you for the, to Andrew for sure.
To Andrew, I appreciate it.
It's your nephew, man. You can tell you love. I have a nephew. I have a couple nephews actually, and I would be devastated if I were, it was ever that unfortunate to experience that. So my heart's with you, brother.
I appreciate that. And life sucks. And unfortunately, the thing about life is it never stops. Sometimes you wish the world would stop, but it never does. And unfortunately, we have to keep going. So that being said, sometimes when you have to keep getting going, you end. Well, let me ask you a question. We dropped our first topic there. Do you want to dive right in? Tell me what you're feeling, man. What?
Okay. Well, this all it sucks. Okay, and I titled the episode because getting old sucks because I just went to. Let me back up. About 3 months ago, I sustained an injury to my right shoulder. You know what I mean? Those of you who follow me on Truth to Toe Sports Podcast know I'm an avid softball player. I love playing softball. It's because I grew up playing baseball. It's what my fat ass can do right now. and I appreciate it, you know. But I love the game as well. But I injured I don't know how it happened. I don't know what exactly happened, but my shoulder's been messed up for like 3 months. Finally went to the doctors. They did x-rays. So I'm waiting for the x-rays to come back. But when I'm in my, he's examining me. He's like, maybe it could be arthritis. And I was like, wait a minute, arthritis? Like, when the fuck did I get old? You know what I'm saying? you hear arthritis, but you only hear about like old people having arthritis. So like, when did this shit happen? You know what I mean?
Man, I feel for you.
Frankie said, you look like you strike out a lot at softball. Funny thing is, I struck out this Wednesday. I think I wanted it too much. And it was a cool bat. So I kind of wanted to get a really good hit.
Listen, ask Tim Tebow. You can strike out at any age.
Not a lot.
I said, ask Tim Tebow. You can strike out at any age, man. It's all
good, yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
I sympathize with you in not in terms of, you know, sports and athletics, because I'm not exactly out there playing on the diamond. The pins in my hips really sort of prevent me from doing it. Although I will admit, last time I played in an office kickball game, I tried very hard, like a toxically masculine asshole, to try to win the game, to like shame my boss. Like I tried like really hard, and I was like diving and sliding, and shit was really stupid. But I ruined his day, so that's what matters. That guy was an asshole. It's the gray in my beard for me, dude. Like I just feel like I feel like I look old, and it doesn't matter how I feel inside or what I think. What up, Jason? What sucks to me is that I look at myself, I see myself in the mirror, and I'm just like, oh my God, the gray hair is killing me. And I could get Just for Men or whatever. And
that's funny. Hey, you got to tell me how that happens, man. Frankie, you got to let us know how that happens.
Amazing.
Kickball.
That's amazing. But I truly feel you. But so how bad is your shoulder then? You said you have arthritis for sure? Or you're still
I don't know if it's arthritis at all. To be honest with you, he just said it could be. But we won't know until, you know, the x-rays come back or whatever, or even if he would have to order me like for an MRI, it could possibly be a tear in the rotator cuff, which
is much cooler.
You know what I'm saying? Honestly, it's a much cooler injury than arthritis.
Yeah.
I had to be on the, you know, I had to be on the mend and stuff like that. I can even build like a getting back into a montage in my head. I might even do that and make it a TikTok. Hopefully, if it comes back.
Yeah, you could literally like make videos of yourself like working out and you know, post like a message about how you promise to come back stronger than ever before. And that, like,
just completely OD on it.
Yeah, you know, you found your faith in Jesus in this time, and every single thing that any athlete has ever written, anytime they've ever been injured.
I might need you. That might be a King and Doc short. You know what I'm saying? I might need you for
that. I'm gonna get the HD camera out.
Hell yeah, that might be this thing documentary style.
Return to like intramural softball.
Right.
What do we need to come up with a King and Doc 30 for 30. Like, I don't know what 420 for 420.
Yeah, that'll be great too. That'll be fun. Man. Yeah, it's just getting old, man. I remember not having to stretch or do things. I remember, you know, one of the things too, I realized like I used to go out a lot. I used to be like, I guess it would be like a party boy. If you can call it that. I like doing that, but I stopped going because at one point I realized I was the oldest motherfucker in the club.
That's not what you want to be. You never
want to be. You don't want to be the oldest guy in the club. You definitely want to be the oldest guy in the club. I remember going out one night after I got off of work, wanted a beer to relax. It was a Friday night. Didn't really think of, you know, the day. But I'm sitting there at the bar and I started playing trivia. And the bartender to the point she's like, "Oh my God, Melvin!" Like she knew me by name because I used to go there a lot, but not doing like the club time. And she's like, "Yeah, you're like an old man now."
That's a woman who's not worried about losing her tips.
No, not at all. No, because she kept it real with me, dude. And it was. And I looked around. I mean, it wasn't until like I stopped and I looked around the room and just noticing all the things I used to do with people, and you thought it was fun. You remember going out to the club and thinking like, "Oh my God, this is the best night of my life," and because the vibe was right. I don't get that vibe anymore.
It's gone because it's weird. It's weird to be there again. Like I said this before, but we need old people bars. No one under 35 in. I want to be one of the younger people in the room. They have like these senior communities, right? It's like 55 plus. I need like a mid-range one for bars, like 35 to 55. You know what I'm saying?
55
just
might be too old though, for real.
Well, hey, okay, 35 to 50. We'll give it a real tight age range, just so long as I don't ever have to listen to anyone under age 25 speak about anything ever again.
Because it's the worst thing, man.
I don't want to hear anything that they ever have to say.
Their conversations are dumb.
Like Vivek Ramaswamy's a piece of shit, but when he was like, we should raise the voting age to 25, I was like, all right, I'm listening. No, I'm fucking but because I had not exactly the same experience, but I was at a gas station and I was just going home one night, and this young girl, like early 20s, comes up to me, and I'm at the time I'm like 36, so it's like she's too young to even be talking to me, so I kind of don't know what's going on, why this girl's approaching me, and then she's like, "Sir, could you help me put the air in the tires, because I can't figure out how to do the air pressure in my car?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, of course, young lady, let me help you." But the point is like she like looked at me and was like, "Dad," not man.
Completely safe.
Yeah,
he's
dad.
Completely safe. There is no chance whatsoever.
That dude owns 3 diaper bags. He is safe, and she was right. Like she was 100% correct. I helped her get the air in her tires, but the fact that she just could peg me as that dude's not going to hit on me, he's old, and she was 100% correct, and she was right, and I was just like, my God, it's visible to everyone I'm old, but I'm also okay with it, because number one, I get to tell everyone who's young, well, you just don't understand because you're young, right? And it doesn't matter if like they're 100% correct. Just anytime you're backed into a corner, well, you know what, when you're older, when you're my age, you'll get it. And here's the thing. By then, I'll never see them again. So it doesn't fucking matter. I win. Right. And also, the other thing about getting old that I enjoy is I'm finally not crazy. I'm just like a little bit of a regular person now. And every now and then, I like have rational reactions to things. It's very
man, me too, dude. I've noticed that a lot too. Certain things I see now doesn't quite piss me off, and I understand a lot more now. You know what I'm saying? My dad used to tell me, when God bless my dad, when he used to tell me, he's like, "You've never been my age, but I've been your age. You've never been mine." So like, I've experienced the things you've already experienced, but you haven't experienced what I've experienced. So now I feel like I'm starting to experience some of the things he's experienced. For when I would go to him like, "Hey man, what about this?" I really, I was pop off. I was kind of what the kids call like a crash out back in the day. You know what I'm saying? If you said anything to me wrong, he looked at me, I would check you. I will figure it out. What's going on now? Not so much. Not so much, because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna say this. He's gonna say that. He's probably gonna want to fight because he's younger than I. He has a lot more that he wants to prove. He's gonna punch me in the face. It's gonna hurt. Okay, and I had to block myself. I had to do all this stuff. I had to maintain all this equilibrium while doing all this stuff. That's too much. It's too much. I don't want to do this anymore.
I just remember when we were at Lake Tahoe and these 3 white dudes are at a table next to us in this bar, and they're freestyling together. Mm-hmm. And number one, I know that it's 2025, but still, white people rapping is one of those things that's still really for a select group of people, okay? It's not something that you should all do. And I understand, it's like, I was kind of looking at them, and one of the dudes made some comment about me wearing I don't know what the fuck it was, a Tom Brady jersey I always wore, but I don't really know what he said, but I heard him say something, so I decided I was going to be annoyed. And I went over, and I was just like, why are you being... I'm like, you're so loud and obnoxious. And they're like, oh, sorry for being loud and obnoxious in a bar. I'm like, you're rapping. You're literally sitting here in the corner and you're like slapping the table, like rap. I'm like, what is going on? Yeah, and again, I'm like, I'm so old. I was just so old because that's probably what I would have been doing when I was 23 in Lake Tahoe. Like I would have spit some bars. Yo, who wants to hear me in this like no one. And
like, you ask yourself, was I that annoying? Did I,
Yeah.
all the time.
Well, I know I was. Dude, I'm like, before age 28, I want to kick my own ass. Like I want to.
Man, yeah, for sure.
Anyone who knew me before like age 28, I'm very sorry. I feel bad for how I treated you. I'm very sorry. You deserved better.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that's.
But that's the perspective of getting old. Mm-hmm. Because when you're young, you're a fucking asshole. There are very few young people who are not assholes.
Or not assholes, right?
They do exist.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. I don't see. Well, you think everybody who's older are nice, but some are just retired assholes.
That's true. But hey, I'd rather deal with the retired asshole than an asshole in their prime.
Stephanie wants to know when you guys meet.
Oh, I'm not apologizing. Don't even start with me. I'm not apologizing for anything. Like Donald Trump, I take back what I just said, and it's not true. And nothing I ever said holds any relevance, and I'm not responsible for anything I have ever said or done.
That's funny.
That's funny. I don't know years. How do you know how are you supposed to keep track of years or days?
When you met someone?
Yeah. Well, okay.
There has to be like something like big that happened to me to remember what year I met you. I'm around like some huge event.
At this point, it's pre-pandemic and post-pandemic for me. Yeah. Did I know you before or after the meteor hit planet Earth? Because other than that, I don't know. The pandemic fried my brain permanently to the point that I am just sort of here now. And when I say that, like it's like I work more than ever now. It's totally not even true. But wow. It's fun to make fun of yourself.
Hey, who you think's gonna win the Super Bowl?
Well, okay. I did a show the other day and I picked the Eagles, so I'll stick with that. And I just, the thing for me is, and I've been wrong over and over and over again with the Chiefs, but I think at a certain point you run out. And the fact that they made it back for a chance at a third straight Super Bowl is incredible. But I think at a certain point you just run out of gas. And this Eagles team is running on all cylinders. Saquon Barkley is literally, in my opinion, the best player in the game right now. Yeah. He's unstoppable. And they're going to be able to control the trenches on both sides of the line. The Chiefs have eked out so many wins. I don't think they're going to have the opportunity to do that in this game. I think they're going to have to score. And, I don't know. I mean, we know that the Chiefs can score, of course. We know what they can do. We know what Mahomes has done, blah, blah, blah. But at a certain point, all of the bandaging and all of the this and that catches up to you. And I just think this Eagles team is a better football team right now. I think the NFC on the whole is, I mean, you got three top teams of the AFC that are incredible and then a lot of sort of middling teams. I guess you could say the same about the NFC, but I love what's going on over there. And I just think the Eagles are the best team in the league. And, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe yet again, I'm proven wrong and the Chiefs prove me wrong again. And Mahomes gets 3 and blah, blah, blah. But I just right now, if I were gambling, and I'm sure that I will, I'm going to put money on the Eagles. So
you put money. That'd be cool.
What about you?
I can't go against light-skinned Jesus. I can't go against Patrick Mahomes. This dude, and as much as I would want the Eagles to win, because I like Saquon, I like Jalen Hurts, I like AJ Brown, I like their defense is just stingy. Been playing top tier, this whole season. A lot of people, I mean, the Eagles kind of flew under the radar, but when it was time to win games, that's what they did. Low key, Kansas City did the same thing. A lot of those games they eked out, barely scratched out. But they won games enough to lock up the number 1 seed. You know what I'm saying? To do what they always do. And I just think, I don't know, man. Kansas City's got it for me.
I think the thing is that in every other
hard to go against them.
It is hard to go against them. And in every other historical matchup of Kansas City, save for the Super Bowl against the Buccaneers, where their offensive line was decimated and the Bucs were just the better team. They generally are going to be the team that controls the line of scrimmage and controls the clock because of how good Pat Mahomes and everything else. I think in this situation, the Eagles are going to be able to do that. Because if the Eagles are able to force the issue and run the ball as well as they have against literally every single defense this season, then I don't know what the Chiefs do to deal with that. Because all of the shit that they did against the Bills where Mahomes is bootlegging and, dumping off to Worthy and all this shit, well, the Eagles aren't going to be fooled anywhere near that level. The Bills defense was atrocious in that game. They let the Bills down so much, and they allowed so much simple bullshit because they didn't play contain against Mahomes at all. They treated him like he doesn't run. And the Eagles aren't going to play that horrible level of defense. And the thing about Vic Fangio is that his scheme, the way it's built, is you're going to be able to keep Mahomes more contained, which means they're going to have more success from their skill position players. It's not that they don't have the ability, but again, it's like Mahomes or Kelsey's like 36. Guys are coming back from injuries. They're not 100%. Like the Eagles are 100%. They are deep on both sides of the ball at every position. And I know that, again, we pretty much always want to go with the best quarterback. I just think the Eagles are a really fucking well-run organization. I think they're the better team, and I think they'll win.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I can see that too.
I picked them 37-34, so I'm not calling for a blowout here. I'm just saying that for once
it'll be a close. I think it'll be a close game. But the fact that I think it's going to be a close game is why I'm giving the edge to Kansas City.
Yeah, and I know it's ludicrous for me to be picking a team because of a running back. I hear it. I hear what I'm saying. It's just that this is not the game that it was 5 years ago. And that in and of itself is a big part of the situation. I'm just a big believer in, trenches. And I happen to think the Eagles are better on both sides of the ball in that way. I think that Mahomes bails out. The Chiefs line is good, but sneaky not quite as good as it's been this year. So
Oh, yeah, true. I agree with that.
Despite their winning, Mahomes has bailed them out a lot.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that.
Do you get excited for spring football at all? Do you care about like the XFL?
You know what? It was the XFL and USFL, right?
Yeah.
And then they
UFL, they merged.
Now it's merged into like the UFL. This will be their second year. Birmingham Stallions, man. Shout out to the Birmingham Stallions. Not only did they dominate the USFL, but they merged with the XFL to make the UFL, and they're still kicking ass. So I think that's pretty cool. But spring football is, to me, just as popular as you remember when they started airing like Korean baseball during the pandemic.
I do remember that. Yes,
like 1 o'clock, you had to be up like super early in the morning to watch it. But you know what I'm saying, it wasn't the same thing, but it was the same thing.
During the pandemic, I bet on Madden games that were simulated. Like they would put two teams and simulate the game, and I would gamble on. I was so desperate for things to bet on. I bet on simulated Madden games.
That is wild.
Yeah,
simulated Madden games.
That's fucking degeneracy in and of itself. But here's the thing: someone set it up for me to do it. Someone had the idea. That's worse. They're evil. I'm just a victim.
I'm just wondering, like, how would you find that? Did you need to gamble that much? He was like, well, you know what? Simulated Madden games is just as good as a regular game, right?
Well, so here's the thing. Number one, like, it was when the U.S. government was giving out lots of free money. So, it was kind of like, maybe I will bet a little bit on this, Madden game. And the other thing, it was just on the website that I used for gambling at the time. And then when the leagues all got postponed, basically, they were like, we got to figure out how to make money off these goddamn fools somehow. And someone was like, what if we start streaming Madden games on Twitch and offer them lines? And lo and behold, we were dumb enough to fall for it. The thing is, I made pretty good money betting on them, truthfully, because there are certain things that Madden just has kind of patterns.
Now, are these people playing each other, or are these
no, just computer simulation. So it was so it was even because they would choose teams that had even ratings, and Bobby Wagner would force at least 8 fumbles a game and all this shit.
You see what I'm saying? You got to go into the settings and try to make it as realistic as possible.
They would put it on rookie and turn on the fucking like power up. So Bobby Wagner would get his shit turned on, and they literally would have over under forced fumbles for Bobby Wagner for the game set at like 2.5, 3.5, because he would fucking force 6 Like sometimes, like there were these games that were completely ridiculous. So
that's crazy.
That's a problem. That's bad. I can acknowledge that. I can acknowledge that is a bad idea. That is probably not something. But here's the thing. Let me defend myself for a moment. All because right. why does the injury report exist in sports?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
That's for gambling. I mean, like nowhere else in the world is your medical information publicly available for everyone. But for some reason in sports, I need to be able to know the health of every single player. And that's for gambling. And the injury report, that shit started in the 30s. This shit is for gambling. I mean, spring football. Why does spring football exist? I mean, they get like 1 million viewers. Who fucking cares? But they get millions of dollars in gambling. People bet on that shit. Like, and I'm not against it. I'm a gambler. I'm fine with that. I'm just saying when people go, well, the gambling is wrong and we shouldn't gamble on sports. I'm like, dude, the only reason sports exist is because of gambling. No one would give a shit. If gambling never started, none of this would occur. Like this is where we are. The injury reports it's literally a HIPAA violation. It's a violation of US law. We still make everyone give all of their injury information. I mean, it's one of the craziest things in the world.
That's crazy.
It is the honest to God truth. So we have let that grow and become everything.
Do you because you gamble, because I guess you watch spring football for gambling purpose, do you track it as if you track the NFL?
No, because there's not nearly as much information available. There's not podcasts. There's not prop bets. You pretty much just always bet the under because every team is garbage. And of course, the second half of last season, there were a boatload of overs, and you just kind of through the first half of the season, the rosters have just been constructed. And so like they don't even know each other. They have a 2-day training camp. The quarterbacks are all garbage. You just bet the under on every single game. Then halfway through the season, you'll find a couple of teams that are competent. For example, Birmingham, shout out quarterback AJ McCarron, who was once at Alabama. Now, like he opted out of his quarterback with the Bengals, or his contract with the Bengals to go play for them because he wanted to start. So he left like $2 million on the table to go make $60,000 and actually play. This is pretty cool. And they were the best team in the league for, the whole time, I believe. I think they won. I don't even know. That's the point, man. It's like, I don't even know who fucking won. You pay a little attention.
Oh, it's in Birmingham. It's been Birmingham the whole time.
It's been Birmingham the whole time. Okay, so there you go. See, I don't even fucking know.
In the USFL, it was Birmingham. Now it's like the XFL. I think it's there. I mean, not XFL, the UFL. It's the first year. And they won the first one too. So like, it's if you can't beat Birmingham, you ain't gonna do shit. To be honest with you.
And I mean, it's funny seeing like Jordan, Tammy, and you see dudes who you saw in college football a few years ago who didn't quite make it to the NFL, and here they are playing in this league. But again, the existence is for gambling. Like I can't come up with any justification.
It ain't the love, you know what I'm saying? And damn sure, in my opinion, it ain't the fans, because you hear every time you hear fans like, oh man, football's about to be over after the Super Bowl. We got to wait all the way to August to get to get football again. But in the meantime, here's this UFL stuff, and I don't see a lot of people like post about it. I don't see a lot of people like get excited about it. I don't see a lot of people do any. We talk about it on Truth Be Told Sports Podcast, and even that is like in our honorable mention section. You get what I'm saying? So I guess I'm saying like there's definitely validity in what you're saying as far as it being gambling, because it's not the love. Like fans don't love spring football.
And I don't mean this in a dick way, but women's basketball has passed it. Like
dude, women's basketball is definitely going up, and I'm so happy for it. I'm here for it.
Brittany Griner signed with the Atlanta Dream today, and I'm fucking furious about that. That's going to hurt the Mercury, but we couldn't win a goddamn game last season anyway, so whatever. That one killed me. But
and when I say we, I speak of the Los Angeles Sparks. Just received Kelsey Plum.
I know that pisses me the fuck off. I don't understand that trade at all. I did not understand that trade at all. That was a ridiculous ass trade. That felt like a fucking handoff. That is infuriating. Now, I mean, the thing is, the Aces are still so loaded, and the Liberty are still so loaded that it really doesn't matter. I mean, the Sparks are not going to win anything, but it's still fucking obnoxious.
Bring back
to get handed Kelsey Plum for a couple of draft picks, and not even the number one. That was listen,
I think we get bring back next year. We barely make the playoffs, but we struggle a little bit. I don't know. I just hope we get Juju Watkins in a couple years.
Yeah. I mean, the Mercury are, it's time to tear it down. Tarazi's gone. She's retiring. Yeah. They traded.
Griner's gone.
Yeah, they let Skylar Diggins go. Now Brittany Griner's gone. Like, it's time to tear the whole goddamn thing down. I mean, it's just not obviously they don't, they've made moves, but it just nothing has really panned out. And with this level of talent that's coming out of college now, where you've literally got like franchise chasing talent coming into the NBA, WNBA every single season, which is not something that used to be. Like the WNBA did not always have like this level of consistent talent every single year. And I didn't even honestly think that it was gonna really continue at where it was, but it's obviously reached a tipping point where it's very clear that women's basketball is not only here to stay, but is actually reached a tipping point of people really truly care. And they've got a new incoming contract, which is going to give them some actual real pay for once. All this shit is good. So,
I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. A lot of people don't care for WNBA. You hear people say, "Oh, they lower the rim and let them dunk. It'd be more exciting." But I'm one of those people, like, you have to understand what you're looking at.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So if I pull up to a WNBA game, I'm going to understand that I'm not going to see a fast break, like a breakaway dunk. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna see a lot more fundamental basketball. I'm gonna see a lot more of that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
You will actually see more fundamental basketball than you will in the NBA.
No, yeah,
absolutely. The NBA is all about athleticism and 3-point shooting. It's the only thing that goes on. The WNBA has actual basketball fundamentals. You will see a pick and roll.
That's what you got to understand what you're seeing exactly. And I for one, having female, cousins or relatives that played basketball back then. And being able to see something like, that are playing basketball now, like I have cousins right now that are playing like junior high basketball, high school basketball, that they can have an aspiration to play professional basketball here in the States and not have to go overseas and be away from their families to try to play for pennies or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool to see like this league taking off. I'm an advocate for it, man. As soon as I can afford it, man, I'm gonna get Sparks season tickets. I'm gonna support it as much as I possibly can, bro.
Yeah, dude. Well, Kelsey Plum and Cameron Brink are gonna be a hell of
And then we get Juju Watkins.
Yeah,
Juju Watkins it'll be a lock for me.
Cameron Brink,
I'm a hardcore fan.
Cameron Brink was having like a rookie of the year season. She was playing better than Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
Yeah,
before she got injured. I mean, she was tearing it up. Yeah, dude. She is awesome. And she's one of those players who her talent shines even more when she graduates to the professional leagues because there's better spacing. There's a more professional level of play. And, it goes from her being a really good player to a great player. She wasn't even the number one overall pick, but she was playing like one of the best players in the league last year. So, it's definitely very cool if you're a Sparks fan, which I'm not, so fuck you.
Oh man, don't get upset, bro. Hey, if you want, we can battle it out on NBA 2K25 because they have like the WNBA players on it. We can do Sparks versus the Mercury one day.
That might need to be a King and Doc 420 for 420 as well. With like showing each other training and all this shit. I'm just like drunk in a corner.
All right.
All right. Is it time?
It's time for our top 10, bro.
Let's do it, baby.
Yeah, it's time for our top 10. And we're going to do this week. We're going to do top 10. We kind of alluded to, I mentioned the video game. We're going to do the King and Dot presents the top 10 sports video games of all time. And that's only according to the King and Dot podcast because we came up with the list. Now, if you disagree or if you want to challenge us with any of this stuff, feel free to, drop who you think is in your comments. I think I started off last week. No, you started off last week, but the evens last week. So I had the evens this week.
Yes, sir.
So I have number 10. I'm gonna go with number 10. I'm digging in the crates, so to speak, going back in time. This is probably one of the coolest football games I've ever played in my life. In fact, it's probably the first video game football I've ever played in my life. And I'm only talking about Tecmo Bowl for the NES.
Tecmo Bowl.
Bo Jackson was a cheat code. Everyone knows that Bo Jackson was a cheat code. You pick him, you make a play with him, he's gonna run all over the field, he's gonna score a touchdown. But the team I used to play with all the time back in the day, Chicago, they were just unstoppable. That defense was fantastic.
The thing about Bo Jackson,
I heard a lot of feelings with Chicago back in the day playing this game.
And the thing about Bo Jackson was, if you picked him, you basically had to tell the person you were playing what play you were going to run and what you were going to do to like give them some semblance of a chance to stop it. You know, that's what I always say. I read some article and some dude was like, he was like, if you were playing as Bo Jackson, I stole that joke. I'm sorry. But whoever it was like, if you're playing as Bo Jackson, you got to tell everyone. So did you said you hurt feelings with the Bears. Were you able to stop Bo Jackson? Did you come up with that strategy?
No, because there was no strategy of stopping Bo Jackson. The only way you would be able to stop Bo Jackson is if you happen to pick the same play they picked. And luckily for like Tecmo Bowl, there was only 8 plays, and 4 of them were running plays. So you had to pick the identical running play to get a chance to stop him. Because if he got on the outside, he was gone. There was no catching him.
You could go find those videos of people like doing full circles around the field with Bo Jackson in this game. Like, and there's no way to nerf it because there's no updates. But how did no one testing figure this shit out? Like, or it's just a bunch of Raiders fans, and they're like, yeah.
Well, Bo Jackson at that time, Bo Jackson was the biggest. He was the biggest player and biggest athlete probably in the world. You know what I'm saying? Because there was Pro Stars that he was with. He was also like hitting home runs and doing amazing shit on the diamond. So when Tecmo Bowl came out, it only made sense to make him like the most unstoppable star of the game.
I had a chance to meet Bo Jackson.
Yes, once. I love the Tecmo cameo in Family Guy. Yes, absolutely. Get out of my head, Royal Quack, because that's exactly when the Blood Doctor was talking about the Bo Jackson scramble. I was thinking about Peter playing. I think it was Quagmire. In that episode, he was just beating the shit out of him with Bo Jackson. It was funny.
Oh, I do remember that one. I had a chance to meet Bo Jackson once, and I was like 9 years old, and I was like offered a chance to exercise with him on stage at this thing, and I said no because I was scared. And then I wanted to do it, and then I couldn't do it. And I've always regretted that. The 3 seconds I could have spent on stage with Bo Jackson. Perhaps it would have changed my life, and I would have been a superstar athlete. Those 3 seconds.
Probably could have. Probably would change your whole life.
All right. Number 9, right? Are we on it?
We're on number 9.
Let's do it. All right. So Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball from the N64. So this to me was like the first baseball video game that was truly fun. There were other baseball video games. There was like Cal Ripken Baseball on Super Nintendo, which was not bad, which was a fun game. But this was the first game that truly like grasped the concept of like what it felt like to hit a home run. Right. And, especially on the N64, like this game, it looked real. And I know that, as a kid, it's like, oh, it all looked real, whatever. But this felt real. It looked real to me. And, when you played with Griffey, he's got so much swagger in his swing. And this is one of the first games that has like a lot of real player swings and all these things. It's not the first one, but one of the first ones that really had that kind of stuff. And it just was the first baseball game I truly loved. And it's what introduced me to caring about, trying to hit home runs and shit. So this game to me comes in at number 9. Some people would say Slugfest from the following year. That's fine. Yeah. Whatever. It's the same one, basically. It's similar.
I get you. I didn't have a Nintendo 64. I think this is right around PlayStation. The first PlayStation came out, so I opted to jump on the PlayStation bandwagon from there because I went from Sega. I went from NES to Sega Genesis, from Sega Genesis to the first PlayStation. I've been on PlayStation ever since. But I played Nintendo 64. GoldenEye obviously that's probably another top 10 in the future for a King best like first person shooter, but even best video games. That GoldenEye probably stands probably one of the best video games of all time.
Agreed.
But I never got a chance to play any sports titles on Nintendo 64.
And this one really, they had all 30 ballparks. So it was one of the first times that you were playing in real stadium. It was just one of the first sports games, and especially in baseball, that brought any level of realism to the game. And so it was always burned into my mind. And, again, All-Star Baseball 2001, another great game. But for me, this was the one. So
cool.
Number 8.
For me, I remember playing this. I remember going to the Neon Palace and seeing this game for the first time, the arcade version. Really enjoyed it. Spent too many quarters, pump too many quarters in that machine to do it. Couldn't wait to it when it dropped on the Sega Genesis. On the Sega Genesis, I remember looking at the Game Pro magazine to find like all the cheat codes or whatever, because Michael Jordan wasn't in this game, and I felt like he should have been. But I'm only talking about one game, and that is NBA Jam. I almost call it Space Jam, but NBA Jam. NBA Jam was like the dopest game, but so it was like a 2v2 like simulated NBA type basketball game. Had all the ad libs, the memorable ad libs. Oh, he's on fire! Oh, boom, shakalaka! You had all that cool stuff in it. I think Marv Albert lended his voice to it. So yeah, it's pretty dope.
That's why the original NBA Jam was so sick, because of Marv Albert. Yeah, no, that's totally true.
You could put Michael Jordan.
Buy a bucket.
The best team in there was the Charlotte Hornets with Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson.
Ooh, oh man, that is true. That is one of the craziest things, because the Bulls had like Pippen and Kerr.
Pippen and Horace Grant.
Horace Grant was in the first one. That's right. Kerr was a choice in the.
Yeah, then it became Pippen and Kerr. Yeah,
was the
later one.
I'm trying to think. The Suns Barkley and KJ on this one, or no? It was like KJ and Dan Marley. I think
it was KJ and Dan Marley.
Yeah.
I
don't think Barkley was.
I have that. I bought that damn that modulator, that gaming modulator has all like 30,000 games on it, and I played NBA Jam the other night. I lost the first game because I forgot all the controls. But
yeah,
I got beat by Sean Elliott. Was it Sean Elliott and David Robinson, the Spurs?
This is just legendary, man. This game was. NBA Jam was fucking dope. Yep. All right,
okay,
number 7.
We're on number 7, yes, sir.
All right, well, and I feel ridiculous for doing this because it's like not my favorite sport at all, but MLB 9. So rocking 2 baseball games in a row. I know.
Okay.
Allow me to defend myself, because this is the best game ever to pitch on. Like if you just like pitching, it's just like pitching mechanics. This is the game.
Okay.
It was the way they used the stick and everything. It was so fun. The timing window was perfect. It was difficult, but still doable, unlike MLB The Show, which can be so difficult at times. And this game, just like I would pitch for like hours, like, and you could, you made a character and went through a career. And I remember like one character, like I threw 20 strikeouts in my first major league game. Like I fucking loved pitching on this game. It was just for hours.
Nice.
And like the next year after this, they like lost all their sponsorships and MLB 2K was gone forever. But this
dude, I remember that. That.
The show basically.
I think MLB 2K, they used to have a contest. It's like platform. It was across like console wide or whatever. That if you first person threw a perfect game, won like $1 million.
Yep. Yeah, they had that in this one, in 2K10 and 2K11. But the thing is, they stopped developing them. So like 2K11 is basically the same game as 2K9, just with updated rosters. They had no advertising, pretty much just died. And now you got is MLB The Show. But I thoroughly love this game. It deserved to make the list. So,
right on, man. That's cool. Mine. This is what we're at. This is number 7. We're at number 6 now. Number 6 for me, NBA 2K13.
Classic.
This game is a classic. Big reason for this is that soundtrack, man. I'm trying to look it up right now. I had it up earlier, but
this is the one that Jay-Z did. This one
Jay-Z executively produced this one. I just remember like playing this game for hours, bro. For hours, I would literally sit in front of like this and maybe MLB The Show, but I remember specifically this game. Hours playing. The night my son Parker was born, I just turned this thing off before I took his mom to the hospital. In fact, I don't say she ruined my game. I don't say she ruined my game, but she interrupted my game by letting me know that her water had broke. So I had to put this thing down.
Oh my god! Oh, that was.
I'm gonna say she ruined my game.
Oh, we're making a preview out of that, baby.
The soundtrack was a Blow Your Whistle, Run This Town was on it, Still the Move, Ali in the Jungle, Shook Ones Part 2, We Live in Brooklyn, baby. Young Jeezy was on it. Viva La Vida by Coldplay was a big part of it. We Majors on it. Jay-Z's public service announcement was on it. Pretty solid soundtrack for a video game at the time.
Not only that, but Derrick Rose, Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin, all in their prime, as you saw on the cover. Yeah. Plus, you got LeBron James, you've got Carmelo Anthony. Like, this is a peak era for the NBA where you had a boatload of incredible talent. Mm-hmm. And this game was fun as fuck because it was, it was difficult. Like, when you went online, everyone was either the Thunder or the Heat. It was like every single time.
Every time.
And so, but then you had like Derrick Rose would be completely unstoppable. I remember playing my nephew Andrew on this game, the one who passed away, rest in peace, Andrew. I remember playing him on this game on PlayStation 3, and he had figured out Derrick Rose so perfectly that he literally scored like 50 baskets in a row against me. And I was like ready to throw the fucking controller. I was like, yo.
Why? Yeah, you probably should have. 50 baskets
I was like, you are what? I was like, this kid, I was like, you motherfucker. No, I'm just playing. He whooped my ass quite a few times. So
that's funny. That's funny.
Man, I got stories about that kid whooping my ass in video games. I'll tell you what. But this game ruled. You are very right.
All right. So that's what number 6 for me, NBA 2K13.
All right, number 5. This game was one of the greatest games of all time, and I wish it had a chance to develop into a series, but EA would not let it be so. That is NFL Fever 2002. Now, number 1, let's remember that the intro to this game is the sickest intro to any video game of all time because it features Welcome to the Dome by Public Enemy and ends with the shot of Kevin Dyson 1 yard away from the goal line against the Rams in the 1999 Super Bowl. And he's 1 yard away and they freeze it and they say, could you have won the Super Bowl? And it's just a badass intro. So this game, easily the best intro of all time. On top of that, the game mechanics were fun as hell. It had limited boost. So instead of turbo, where you can just like turbo the whole time, you have like one little boost that you've got to use every play. You need to use it at the right moment. And it always felt very real to me. And then, of course, what happened was, EA gets the NFL license. And now, as we know, Madden is the only one.
Yeah. I mean, you remember the NFL 2K games?
Oh, yeah. NFL 2K5 was amazing.
That Dreamcast is pretty badass. And I loved it. And I would sit there forever playing NFL 2K.
NFL 2K5 has value right now.
Yeah,
if you went and picked up that game right now, you would enjoy it, dude. They literally that game they had Sports Center, which would show highlights from every single game in the week, including the games you didn't even play or have anything to do with. It had the first person football feature where you could play like as the player. That game is relevant now.
I agree.
100%. And that was honestly, I struggled to figure out because a lot of times, like we talk about when we make these lists, it's like there are comparable games that you sort of choose from. And I thought about putting NFL 2K5 on there, and truthfully, I thought you might, and I wasn't sure. And I thought about that versus this, and I went with this honestly because number 1, because the intro is badass, and number 2, I just always felt that the way that the burst worked in this game. And the way that deep passing worked in this game always felt so real to me compared to games like 2K5, which I felt like were much more difficult in that way. So that's why I went with it. I love this game, but again, it's one of those things. It's sad it died with the Madden purchase of the EA license. But what are you gonna
do? This next one right here, man. You hit on something that. It could have went either way for me, right?
Oh, this was an Xbox only game, by the way. Sorry, this was an Xbox only game.
That's why I never played.
That's right. Yeah, sorry.
I get it. No worries.
Yeah, no, I just realized I should clarify that. Yeah, this was an Xbox only game by Xbox Studios. That's why I didn't get like major play out there.
Right. But we just got the game back after 10 years this past summer. And it's the NCAA football. This is 14. Now, I could have put 06 on here because 06 is just as good. But 14, to me, because we played, they stopped making these after this season, up until this past year. But they stopped making these games. EA stopped because of the NIL stuff. the O'Bannon brothers, like they came up with their deal and wanted to be paid for their name, likeness, and images, which paved the way for what's going on today in college football. But one of the casualties of war during that was this franchise. I was torn between you putting this one or putting 06, as 06 was the first time he was able to do Race to the Heisman. And I liked it because it started off in high school. You start off as a high school senior, you play through your senior year. I'm sorry, the playoffs through your senior year. During that time, those 4 games you play in those playoff games, you're getting looked up, you're gaining stars, you're gaining notoriety, your value is starting to increase as a recruit. It's open up to any school you want to go to. You go to these schools, you go through the rivalries. Like I love college football, period, because like the vibe it gets. You know what I'm saying? So you feel that vibe in that game. In 06, I felt that vibe. Definitely felt this vibe in excuse me, NCAA 14. Funny story is, right, you remember how in NCAA 13, not NCAA 13, but NBA 2K13, when I was like, yeah, my ex-wife, she kind of like, she broke up the vibe of going into labor. They interrupted my game with that one. But with that kid, I remember sitting on the couch, holding that kid, rocking him to sleep, and seeing the commercial for this game right here, NCAA 14, come on TV. And it's saying, I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be dope. Like, when does this come out? It's out now. I was like, we grab my kids. Hey, I'll be right back. I straight up put my kid down, went down, ran to the nearest GameStop, picked up a copy of this stuff, let it download, went to work, came home, and played for hours. But then, you can't, you know what I'm saying? The thing happens, it goes away for 10 years, and I literally played this for like 2 or 3 more years after that until I lost my PS3.
Yo, I still have an Xbox 360, and I've been playing NCAA 13, the one before this. I've been playing that for like 12 years. I love that game. I still play it. I have the new one too.
Yeah, but I have the new one. Like, the new one's great. I've been playing. I mean, I played it the minute it dropped out. It dropped. Yeah. Pre-ordered it for on Father's Day. The day it came out on the 16th, bro. I was sitting right here like 10 minutes waiting for it to clock down and hit fucking play. I had it already loaded and ready to go.
Dude, I did the exact same thing.
I called out of work. It was a Tuesday.
I did the same thing. I did the exact same thing. And it was fucking worth it.
It was fucking
worth
it.
I still play 13 because I like certain things about it, and I like certain things about the recruiting mode and stuff. And it's just I agree with you completely. This game holds up like very well. Very good call. Very good call.
All right. What you got for number 3, bro?
All right, number 3. We're getting down to it now. So this is going to be a little bit controversial for some people because they would choose the version right before. But I would say Madden 06. The reason I said Madden 06, everyone loves Madden 05 because that's the one that had Playmaker. Madden 04, that's when Mike Vick, 0405, they had Playmaker. And that was the, you could basically run out, move receivers around, tell them what to do. This had that as well, but it also had QB vision. And so the Xbox, so the Xbox version had the QB vision, which allowed you could basically look off the safety, then come back and hit your target. And it was very kind of an accurate way to play quarterback. And I always fucking loved that. And this was also the last version of this game for this was the first one on 360, and it was like the last completely full one on regular Xbox. And so it had like a lot of features that the Xbox 360 version didn't even have. They didn't even have franchise on that one. And so like that franchise you could play for years. It was awesome. I wish I hadn't destroyed my original Xbox because I was a dumbass. If I could get a hold of an original Xbox and a copy of Madden 06 right now, I'd play that shit all night. No joke.
I love Madden 06, dude. For everything you just said, and plus because of why I liked NCAA 06. The road to the Heisman, you can carry over. It was the first thing you can carry over that guy to the next one, to the next game. That was the first time they did that too.
And that's what's awesome about the new one too. I do love that they brought that back. It's been so fun to play a character through college. and then play them in the NFL again. Like I'm always gonna be a video game. Like I fucking love video games. Yeah, exactly. Roy Clark knows what's up. Yeah, Madden 06. Also
great
a great soundtrack. Yes.
Oh yeah, 100% fantastic soundtrack.
You can love me or hate me, but I'm still gonna get my money. Okay, I'm sorry.
I think
very sorry.
Fall Out Boy is on this one too.
Yeah, all right. Well, every great soundtrack has a mistake. So what are you gonna do? Classic game though. All right, number 2. We're getting down to it, baby. Give me the number 2.
Number 2. Okay. You brought up a lot of baseball in this game. I so happen to love a baseball game. MLB The Show is my favorite series, and it's crazy I didn't pick it, but I picked this one because when I discovered MLB The Show, I was actually looking for this game. Ooh. MLB Baseball 2005. Dude. Yeah. And I don't care if it's Manny Ramirez with the Boston Red Sox on the cover, but this game probably is the best baseball game of all time. Home Run Derby. I think this one had like one of the first ones you could play a full 162 games season with one team. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to like switch through. It was crazy, but it seemed very realistic. Batting stances for the bat to the pitch, for the pitching styles and the throwing styles, and everything just seemed mad realistic in this game. I discovered MLB The Show because I went to a Walmart, but I went to a GameStop, and I was looking for this game, or maybe even because the copy I had had scratched up, and I was trying to like either get 05 or maybe or the newest one. But I kept going by MLB The Show, and I was like, man, let me pick this up. Like, wow, you could do this in this game? You can't do it in that one. Let me get this one. That's why I went with MLB The Show. But this game right here, probably one of the best baseball games of all time.
I mean, number 1, it's coming off the 04 Red Sox upsetting the Yankees down 0-3 and winning the World Series. So it has the most highly powered Red Sox team of all time. So you've got my agreement right there, sir. You've got David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez.
That's what I'm talking about. I knew it was in there. Fall Out Boy was in 06.
Man, I met Fall Out Boy one time. I was working in a fucking Circuit City, and when we opened, they came to perform. This was also in 2006. They were so important.
Well, you say Circuit City?
Yeah, dog.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm so old that I worked in a Circuit City, but they were so useless that they performed at one. So, hey.
Wow.
But listen, MVP baseball was dope, and this is the predecessor
Appreciate that, Quack.
Yeah, and this is the predecessor to what they ended up bailing on. EA Sports bails on baseball, 2K bails on baseball. Now MLB shows all that's left, but this was EA had there were a couple of other really good MVP baseball games that came out after this one as well.
Yeah, and there's more college baseball based though, right?
Yeah, there were.
Yeah, college baseball, pretty much.
Yeah, dude. And that's the other funny thing is there's a bunch of other college games that were made by different companies because EA didn't have the lock on it. There's a lot of shit, but this game was classic, dude, for real.
Oh yeah,
I agree wholeheartedly. Like this is another one that I considered, but it's hard to. And it is funny that MLB The Show did not make this list because it probably is the greatest franchise of all time.
MLB 17 is the best one so far. I've played so far.
That's what I had. So, yeah, and I had MLB 17 on my list. So that's how, or the show 17. I had that on my list. So it's how it goes with the cuts and the way we do it back and forth. So honorable mention to MLB show 17. What's up? But the number 1 sports game of all time, and I will defend this one to the death. And I'm glad that I got number 1 on this because I will live by this. That is NBA 2K11. This is the first game that introduced the Jordan mode, which I know that they re-released a couple years ago, which was cool. But this game was like the first game that you got to really ever play as Michael Jordan, and the first time that you ever got to live any of his experiences. Jordan mode essentially set you out to recreate all of his greatest moments.
That was the coolest thing.
That was the coolest thing ever. And it was basically fucking impossible how hard it was because every single thing that Michael Jordan ever did was ridiculous. And this is just the best sports game of all time. I thought it the moment I played it. I think it today, 14 years later. I don't imagine my mind is ever going to change because this game it's still the best NBA 2K that ever came out. It's the most fun playing as Michael Jordan. It's the first time you ever had this level of game, have Jordan and the depth of his career. And it was fucking great. And I loved every second of it.
Absolutely, man. I started playing, got back into playing NBA 2K. Was it 10? I think it was 10. It was the year before this with Kobe Bryant on the cover.
Yep.
When I seen this one, I was like, oh, this is cool. Wow, Michael Jordan's finally back in here because for the lives and and we haven't even brought up the NBA lives. Like NBA Live 07 is a good one to me. You know what I'm saying? But but this is the first time they brought him back since then. I think it was like 02, 01 or whatever. They put Michael Jordan back in the game when he came back with the Wizards or whatever. But the mode, like just living through his moments, going through his moments to try to accomplish those were incredibly hard, but very, very, very fun to do. And I think next year they try to do the same thing with LeBron or something like that, but it wasn't as fun. It wasn't as fun as doing it with Jordan.
Yeah, this Jordan mode was the most fun I've ever had playing any video game, and I don't know that I'll ever have that fun again. So I look back on that shit fondly. And yeah, it was just the most, I was like young, single, and playing video games all the damn time. Like, and then I actually, I met my wife right at the tail end of this, and she definitely saw me play some of this in the early days because I got it. And then I believe we met, and then she saw me play it. So it's kind of funny. Like, that's like the earliest days of our relationship. Even then, she had to watch me fucking play video games. So what are you going to do?
Hey, that's fun. That's fun. That's what's up, man. That's a very good list again.
I agree. The interesting thing is, again, I mean, really good things get left off. Like, again, I had MLB The Show 17 that got left off on my list. NFL Blitz didn't make it to this list.
Didn't make the list. Yeah, that's another good one. And it was kind of, I mean, I'm kind of happy we broadened it out and not just did like franchises, because there's a couple. Let's see, man. NFL Blitz was at 989 Sports. You just do College Game Day back in the day, like in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah,
those were really fun to play. I love those more than I love the EA version, the college football versions at that time. We said NFL Blitz, man, arch rivals. We can do double dribble. Double dribble could have made it. We left a lot of fucking WWE off the list too. But like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Some of those games were really fun back in the day too. So,
yeah, I even enjoyed WWE games, and I'm not even a huge wrestling fan, but their games were some of the first ones to have like franchise mode where you could like play a character and actually do their story.
Yeah, exactly.
And other games took that shit from WWE. So I agree with that completely.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been pretty cool, man. That's a good show, bro. Good show.
What's coming up on Truth Be Told? Anything exciting?
Man, what's going on Truth Be Told? Not much. We're gonna talk obviously in-depth analysis on the AFC NFC championships. We're gonna preview the Super Bowl, obviously. We're gonna talk some more basketball, probably, because like basketball's it's about to get popular. We're at that shitty stage where nobody really pays attention, you know what I'm saying? But then like the All-Star game happens, and then all of a sudden we're all NBA analysts again. What I mean? For like a couple months.
I love it.
Yeah, man. So like we're getting up on 5 years, man. So like in a couple, March 1st will be our 5th year of doing this show. So we're probably gonna have you on. Probably gonna have you on that one. It's gonna be a super duper stuff. It's gonna be a super duper
baby. Stuff. You know, I love it, dude.
What you got going on, man? What you got going on? Let's tell people I was going on with the Blunt Doctor.
I'm posting a new episode tonight. Actually, I recorded one Sunday after the AFC and NFC championships. Talked to my boy Brandon, as I always do. My man Keith came in as well. He was here. So he stopped by. He asked a couple of questions. We had a good time. We laughed it up. Everyone was a little bit fucking punchy. So it was a good one. It's a bit of a shorter one. Sometimes we go on way the hell too long. So I tried to keep it kind of tight for once and not have a 19-hour episode posted. So that one goes up tonight. And as usual, the Blunt Doctor show continues to be on schedule, which means it's completely off schedule and doesn't have one. So what are you going to do?
Where can people find it?
BluntDoctor.com, baby.
We're here also on Elite Sports and Entertainment Network.
Yeah, BluntDoctor.com gives you a link right to my podcast. I'm on the Blunt Doctor show is everywhere. Apple, Spotify, whatever. You search Blunt Doctor show, it'll come up.
Oh, yeah. It's a great show. Please go listen. Make sure you go listen.
So is Truth Be Told. I thoroughly enjoy working with you, man. This has been great so far. 5 years. Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Let's get this thing to 5 years.
We're going to get, for sure. We'll get this to 5 years. 100%.
Hell yeah.
I'm with it, baby. we're unfortunately out of time. We thank everybody for pulling up this week. Shout out to the fellas from the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network for checking in. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm King Hooley. That right there is the Blunt Doctor. Am I pointing the right way?
It's going the other way for me, but who knows what the people see?
Oh, okay, whatever. Well, that guy right there is that's not talking, is laughing with the sunglasses on, is the Blunt Doctor, and we are the King and Doc podcast. Next Tuesday. See you. Peace.